thinking maybe Ren Geyer might be in there, but clearly you thought it was credible. Cliff Bar, things like that. On this show, we're gonna go back to our roots, Bob. We're gonna get a little silly. I'm gonna get a little crazy.
Okay.
I'm gonna let our hair down a little bit.
I like where you're going.
And I have actually 3 ideas on the interactive segment for this show. The first 2 ideas I thought of, maybe a few days or so ago, and honestly, the third idea I just thought of a little while ago before you got here into Riverdale Studios. So what I'd like to do, I'd like to kind of toss these 3 ideas at you. I'm only half.
Toss them like M&Ms.
Yeah, I'd like to. I'm only half of this, show here. You're the other half. So I personally think we should do all 3. But if you think, hey, this one isn't so good, let's just do these 2, or let's not do any of them. Let's just do one. So you let me know what you think.
We'll throw them at the wall and we'll see what sticks.
Okay, the first one is, let's go ahead. I think we should call 411. Okay. We get the nice customer service representative on the line. And on previous experience, I know that they can only look up 2 numbers for you on one call. So on that call, I think we should ask the representative to look up Peyton Manning's from Denver, Colorado's number. And then the second one should be Tom Brady from Foxborough, Massachusetts. And there's a few different things we can go here. Now, one, let's see if the representative catches on and says you mean the quarterback, or if they just go with the flow. And then number 2, if they go with the flow, do they give us a phone number? In other words, obviously it's not going to be really Peyton or Brady. I'm guessing their numbers aren't listed. But there certainly could be, another Peyton Manning or another Tom Brady in the Denver and or Foxborough area. So then if we get those numbers, then I think we should call them, and then I'm not really sure what we should ask them at that point.
I think if that happens, we ask them football-related questions, pretending that they're Tom Brady, and when he says he's not Tom Brady, well, don't be so modest. We can go with it. We can go with it.
I like that. So
okay. I like that.
Light?
Yeah, that's good.
Well, then the second thing, if you said yes to the first thing, I'm thinking we're doing all 3, because the next 2 I'm really excited about. The second thing is, with the presidential election coming up here soon, I think we should call a random citizen, completely random, and just I put together about 5 questions regarding the presidential election. Some of them have to do with the actual election, some of them really don't. But I think you just have to trust me here on this one, Bob. I think that this one's going to be pretty solid.
Okay.
All right.
Go with it.
And then the third one, which again I just kind of came up with, is I've been without the internet, as I mentioned before, good old Charter, and it just came back up and running. But it made me think maybe we should call a different random citizen. Again, I put together a few series, there's 3 or 4 questions asking the citizen how important the internet is to them, and just a few questions regarding that. I think you'll find it entertaining and educational, Bob, and I think that I would like to do this third one as well.
Okay, I can go with it.
Now, I do think it's important that when we get Coach Will on the line later, we do run these things by him. He's the ethics manager. I don't want to do anything out of line. We need his blessing, his green light as well. So great. Okay. Well, I'm excited about that.
I'm excited.
Great. Again, lastly, speaking of ethical behavior, Bob, did you happen to hear about the Fantasy Slut League?
I did.
Yeah?
Yes.
In California?
I don't remember where it was, but I do. Okay. And I'm just upset that I didn't think of that.
It's a great idea.
I think it was awesome.
Do you mind quickly just, making the listeners aware of what we're referring to in case they haven't heard of it?
This is the high school.
Yes.
Okay, so some gentleman in high school created a fantasy slut league where you draft girls in high school, in their high school, and then there are points if they hook up or if they do something with another male, or I guess female. So, for example, if I drafted Jane Smith and she
gave you a BJ, you get like 10 points.
It doesn't have to be me either. It could have been, it could be the high school janitor for all I know. It doesn't have to be you.
Oh, okay.
She gives me a BJ in the back of the car, on the Friday night football game. I get, let's say, 10 points.
Right.
If I don't want to say the F word because this is an ethics-related show.
Yes.
If I beep her in the beep, doggy style, raw dog, and that's probably like 20 points.
Right. That'd be like a 90-yard touchdown.
Yeah. So stuff like that. So I think it was genius.
Yeah, and it came under some hot water.
Obviously.
The principal found out the whole operation got shut down. I don't think any of the kids actually got in like trouble, nor should they have. I mean,
I only
really didn't do anything wrong. I mean, it is ethically.
Yeah, I don't think you can do that. But I was thinking there has to be some sort of guidelines and rules. Like for example, you probably can't have, pick a girl with a boyfriend, because if
you wouldn't probably want.
Well, no, because if she has sex every night with her boyfriend, that's 10 points every time.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So it doesn't have to be with you. It just has to be promiscuity.
Yes.
Promiscuousness. In general. So I think either you can't pick a girl with a boyfriend, or it only counts once, or something along those lines. I don't know.
I'm sure they had a very elaborate rule book. Maybe not as elaborate as ours here, but I almost got the quarterback, Piedmont High School, on the show, Ryan Sullivan, to talk to us about the Fantasy Slut League. Unfortunately, I spoke with Mrs. Sullivan, his mom. She wasn't going to have it.
I don't.
We were close though, Bob. We were close.
I cannot see a universe where she could possibly let.
Sure, you can talk to my son, who's gonna get in a lot of trouble.
Sure, you creepy old guy. Yeah, you want to talk to my son about his fantasy slut league that he created? Yeah, go for it.
It almost happened. I shared a couple of emails with Ryan, and then I had to talk to the mom, and then
you seriously did that?
Oh yeah, why not?
Oh my God.
There's nothing wrong with that. But it's not happening. I was respectful. I asked, hey, I know that things aren't going too well. Let's talk about your football and where you're going. Maybe we'll just talk a little bit about this little fantasy slut league.
How did you get his email?
I didn't get his email. I Googled Piedmont High football coach stats, found the quarterback, Facebook, then you use Facebook, email, and then shoot an email. You say and then
wow.
And then at that point he's like, oh you get to talk to my parents, or I think I asked like, hey, I got to talk to your parents, and then I spoke to her very briefly, and
that's where you went wrong.
Well, I wasn't gonna go. I don't want to get in trouble with Will, basically.
That's true, yeah, or jail.
Now let's take a look into last week's results. Who kicked some ass? Who sucked?
As predicted last week, we had some crazy shit go down in Week 8, and Bub, you actually requested some time here to talk about something that was bothering you. Is that something you maybe want to start off here with, or you
no, I'll start off.
Okay.
And maybe it bothered me at the time more than it does now, but I just don't get what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and specifically, and I'm sure he has his reasons.
Okay,
but Phil.
Ooh.
Starting.
You've had some beef with Phil this year.
I'm sorry, Phil, but this bothered me.
Okay.
Starting Tony Romo over Matt Ryan made no sense to me.
Okay.
And it's easy to sit here and say now because Matt Ryan put up 29.
Monday morning quarterback.
And even though Romo had a horrible game, still put up 21 points.
Right.
But what did Matt Ryan do to deserve a benching is my question.
Well, you know what, Bub? I actually had the privilege of spending my Sunday with Phil, with Coach Phil, along with Coach John C.
My condolences. Jeez.
And I'll tell you one thing: he was not very happy with his decision, but he did let me in on a little bit of insight as to why he made the decision, which might help with your frustration.
Okay.
And I don't know the numbers, I don't know the stats, but I'm assuming this is accurate. Phil is an honest man. But what he told me was that I guess Tony Romo is known for putting up really good stats, really good numbers against the Giants.
Yeah, but he's Tony Romo.
That's the thing that he forgot to factor in his Tony Romo-ness.
I think he's just thinking too much.
That can be an issue with sometimes. It's overthinking and overanalyzing.
But it's not like he has two middle of the road quarterbacks. Okay, well I have Romo and RG3. Not even that. But who do I start this week? Matt Ryan's been, I think, pretty close to the number one quarterback for the entire year. I didn't get that.
Okay. I think
obviously he has his reasons, and you just told me why. Okay, I can see it, but I think he's overthinking it.
Yeah.
And the second one, and this one I can see a little better, was Brian not starting. And again, easy to say now. This one wasn't as bad because Stafford's been sucking this year. Mm-hmm. So I guess I don't really blame him as much for this one. But again, easy to say now. Stafford puts up 37. Luck puts up 17. So at the time, that one was bad, but it's really not a bad decision because Stafford has been sucky. It was more the Matt Ryan.